So we have a big celebrity in the midst right here.
Not a celebrity, just a fan of, but thank you for saying that. That's insane.
I don't know about that. You did get spotted today.
I did get spotted today for the first time. I was at coffee with another influencer who is like massive, Victoria Paris, but not to name drop.
Not to name drop, but to name drop. Yeah.
To name drop.
Yeah.
So when she walked over, I was like, oh, I thought because Victoria had gone to the bathroom, so she came over. I thought she was gonna be like, hey, like I hope you don't mind, but like, can I say something to her? Like when I don't know, I don't know what I was thinking. And she's like, hey, this is so embarrassing, but like I'm obsessed with you. I think you're so smart. And I was like, oh my God, this is insane. In New York City, like I'm in Boston. I feel like I have a lot of Boston followers and I've never been recognized in Boston. In New York City, I get recognized. It's crazy, but it's also like so sweet because I do that to like influencers or people that I'm obsessed with. And like to know that people feel that way about me is just like so insane. I haven't really quite like understood it yet or like taken it in because it's happening so quickly, but it was so dope.
You have had the craziest past few months. I can't even imagine. My friends and I are all obsessed with you. You are probably the smartest person I think I've ever seen online.
I don't think my high school would say that, but thank you.
Well, I will. But you also have created a different type of influencer almost. And even I said this to you before, I'm like, the job doesn't necessarily exist because yes, it is like PR and consulting essentially for other people, but it's also your personality. It's just a different avenue.
Yeah, definitely. And I think going into it, we can go a little back, a little bit into like my history of GBT and Girlboss Town. But when I started to get traction off of these PR moves videos, I started to think I want to create a currency for brands that my audience not only likes me for my personality, but they like me for branding and marketing content. And if I have that currency to go to brands and say, look, I have X amount of followers, but not only do I have that much, but like they like and are interested in lifting up the curtain, which I don't think a lot of people are doing. I think that'd be extremely smart and kind of like a new avenue that not a lot of people are doing. And it's been working out that way. And it's good to see because I feel like a lot of times, this isn't an insult to anybody, but I feel like a lot of influencer marketing is stuck in the 2016, 2018 era where it blew up and people have that formula and it works, obviously. But not a lot of people are like lifting up the curtain or like showing behind the scenes necessarily. It's very like product placement, ads, and I want to like change that. I want to merge the relationship between influencer and like creative and branding and kind of like bring it all to light and show my audience the behind the scenes of these ads that I'm getting while also creating an ad that will perform as well.
No, it's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Take us to the like OG Girlboss Town. Like take us through the journey.
So I lived in LA for 2 years. I did PR and marketing out there for an agency. And I had a roommate, Cassie. She loves your podcast. Shout out, Cassie.
Shout out, Cassie.
We both moved home after LA for different reasons. And we were kind of like, Boston doesn't have a lot to offer creative-wise, media-wise, so, like, let's create something ourselves. And we created Girlboss Town, so it's, like, Girl Boston. And we had a podcast, actually.
I don't know why that's just clicking to me. That's genius.
Not a lot of people know that. But we had a podcast, and we talked about pop culture's past, present, and prediction. And we created an Instagram to go along with it. It got a little bit of traction, actually. We did, like, 100 episodes, probably for, like, a year and a half. Very pop culture-based. And then she ended up going in a different direction with her career, which is fine. But I still wanted to do GBT, and I changed it a bunch of times. Like, obviously, my success with Girlboss Town kind of happened overnight when it comes to TikTok, but I've tried so many different avenues with Girlboss Town, with Instagram, with social media, with YouTube. And I stayed consistent with it, even though the ideas were different. I always knew this is like an avenue that I wanted to get into. And then post pandemic, I was at a corporate job in Boston. I was working a 9 to 5. I was like, this is not what I want to do. And I had the privilege to say, you know what, like I want to go in a different avenue. So I thought I'm going to go to esthetician school, get into skincare, beauty, makeup. I love all that stuff as well. And I'm going to bartend at night to get myself through school. But there was like a 4-month break between when school started. So that's when I started to be able to just create content during the day all the time and TikTok. And that's when this new girl boss town that everybody knows kind of took off, but it took a while. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are like messaging me, how would I start to get into TikTok and all that stuff? Like, you probably get these types of questions all the time and are much more well versed in it. But I'm like, it's not like an immediate success as you think. You need to try different things and be consistent, and whatever hits is amazing. That's great. For me, it was like my PR moves, but it takes time, and you learn a lot about yourself and like what you like to talk about and do. But if you're passionate about it and it's organic and it's kind of niche, that's when things usually blow up. But yeah, like old Girl Boss Town is very different than now. I took the podcasts off the internet because I was like, I used to talk a lot about like people in my life and like exes or like certain things. It's like I don't want people to go back and like creep on that. Yeah. But my old Girl Boss Town posts are still up. Like, we used to do photo shoots every month where we recreated iconic moments in pop culture history, like The Simple Life, Gossip Girl, and those are still up there. Kind of embarrassing, but
that's actually really cool.
Yeah, it was very like pop culture-y. I wanted to be more of like a blog podcast, very pop culture heavy, and that's like my true passion. Like, that's my first passion. But then when I started to kind of mesh pop culture and branding is when it kind of took off.
So I wanted to talk about this because I knew that you had been around and doing things beforehand, and it wasn't just this like quote overnight success.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast recently, and I do not remember where this came from. I think it had to have been Admilet, but he was just talking about how you were like one decision away, you're one relationship away, you are one viral video away from like your life completely changing.
Yeah.
And it's not like you just one day got on TikTok, you posted one video, and then, oh my God, your life's changed.
Yeah.
It was a like progression and also changing. Side note, you need to do a TikTok going through
Old Girl Boss Town.
Yeah, that's what you need to do.
No,
but also talking about how it actually wasn't just this like overnight in quotes thing.
Totally. And people have asked about that before as well, because I've like mentioned it here and there, and I like definitely want to do like a deep dive on that. But I also think something that I was kind of hesitant to talk about that at first, because I think there's so much draw to people thinking something is an overnight success. So when it comes to TikTok and me, the branding aspect of things, that was an overnight success, and that kind of built more of an audience and more of an excitement around it, because it's like, oh my God, I started making videos on my couch, and now like the top celebrities and brands in the industry are reaching out to me. But now that people are invested in my story just as well as my content, it'll be good for me to like go back and like talk about all these types of things, because I think it is extremely, it gives perspective. I mean, like, I'm the ultimate consumer when it comes to influencers and celebrities, so I get like what the audience wants to see and hear, and there's a time and place for everything. And I think I'm getting to the place where it's like, okay, I can open up a little bit more about my story rather than just like pumping out like pop culture content.
It really is. It's such a like niche perfect thing, and there was a complete opening. Like now that you're doing this, I'm like, I can't believe other people weren't.
Yeah.
But also you're like unbelievably talented. How did you even realize that you were so good at this?
Well, I mean, I think growing up, I never got really good grades in school, but I was always like an ideas person. Like, I would do projects and have these crazy ideas, but couldn't necessarily like implement them because like I'm not super organized or like, but I always knew I was an ideas person. And then I got into
a visionary.
Yes. And then I got into DECA, which was this like marketing program at my school. Shout out DECA and my partner Morgan. And that's when I saw that like being an ideas person, like you can still get really far in marketing and business because there's other departments that implement those ideas. But then when I started working at an agency or like was out in LA, I was very much like in the mailroom doing like intern stuff, and I was like, oh, like this is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be able to say all of these ideas and things would happen, which is so unrealistic. I was very like immature in that mindset. But now I think things are very different because I think it's not as traditional. And having me sitting here on the internet and like saying my ideas and then having the companies come to me, not only respecting my ideas and my creativity, but wanting to work with me, I think it was like, wow, like I should believe in myself more, as corny as that sounds. But I was like, if the biggest companies in the world are respecting like my ideas, I should as well. And I should like believe in myself and think like, okay, what I have here is really special and like really define my worth. But it wasn't like one day I just woke up and was like, you know what? I'm creative. Like I think
really smart.
I'm actually so creative and smart. No, but it's, and also I think it's very different than traditional social media to have people compliment the way you think and your creativity. I think it's like the biggest compliment, because it's not like I'm over here on the internet and people are like complimenting my looks, like
a thirst trap or
which is
something.
very,
which is great.
I mean, I wish, no. But to have people compliment my creativity, and I have so many college students and colleges even reaching out, being like, you inspired me to switch my major, or like panels asking me to talk to them, or schools asking me to come talk to students. It's like, this is insanity, but it's like the ultimate compliment and really pushes me to like go, because you probably feel it too. Like when I started making these PR videos, the numbers were insane. And then the numbers, they're still amazing, and I'm blessed that anybody's watching, but the numbers go up and down. So to hear that people, even if a video isn't like a hit, numbers don't define like my creativity or how good the idea is, like I do. And that's just like something that I need to remember as I'm going through this process. But
that's a very, very important life lesson. I think even to people who aren't online, like it doesn't even have to be like, oh, you're getting TikTok views, you know?
No, not at all. And I think that it's like, if you don't even respect your ideas or believe in yourself, like nobody will. So and say somebody doesn't like that idea, that doesn't mean it wasn't good. Like if you thought it was good at one point, then like you have something there. You just like need to follow through with it. Like if I gave up on GBT or thought like this is never gonna happen, like I'm just like another influencer trying to make it, like I wouldn't be where I am today. I just always, in the back of my mind, I was like, I know I can do this. Like I know I have something special, which isn't cocky or like it's just confidence. And I know that's why I'm still doing it today and why everything is like taking off now.
Have you dealt with imposter syndrome at all?
Yeah. So I have reached out to a couple of people who are in this industry, in different avenues of this industry, and I was really struggling with it, like even just like a couple of weeks ago, because although it took a long time for it to happen, now that it's happening so fast, and these deals are coming in and these celebrities are talking to me, and it's the biggest blessing of my life. But sometimes I think I'm like, I don't even deserve this. Like I was just, or like, is this really my life? Or like, it's so crazy how your mindset switches when you start to get success, that like you seek validation in numbers and in like comments and followers. And it just switches your whole perspective and your mindset, and like thinking that you don't deserve it. It's so crazy. And I also think that like this is something that people, how I kind of lifted the curtain to show what goes into branding and marketing. I think influencers need to, or even the industry need to lift the curtain of being like, blowing up overnight or like getting into this industry is absolutely not what people think it is, like whatsoever. I'm 27 years old. Like I've lived a life. I can't even imagine if I was 18 going through this, which a lot of these TikTokers are. I would not be prepared mentally or like educationally to go through this. It's insanity. And obviously it's such a privilege. So to complain about it is kind of like stupid in a sense. I say that in my head, but that's also my imposter syndrome being like,
it's also actually a problem.
Yeah, so it's crazy. I can't even.
There's also a danger to going viral, and my friends and I talk about this all the time, and I'm like, I've been on the internet for so long, and it's been slow and steady, and I'm actually really grateful for that, because had I been, 18 and like it just all of a sudden like pops off, like I don't think I don't know if that would have been good for me at the time. But dangers of going viral, it's like all of a sudden like realistically, if you're getting, like 15 million views a video or something, it's not probably going to last forever. And then it'll go down, and then you have like your real followers who stick around for you.
Totally.
And then also it's like the imposter syndrome. Like it's hard. On one end, it's really great. And then obviously it comes with like difficulties and challenges like that.
Yeah. But it's also like, I think that there's so much validation and going viral, and it's crazy and it's amazing. But then to get hit with like, okay, now you need a lawyer, now you need a manager, now you need an agent, this is this contract, you need this. It's just, there's so much to it that like nobody's really talking about.
And you're expected to learn it overnight.
And
like
to,
that stuff I had so long
yeah,
to figure out.
To know the literacy of this industry, even at 27 years old, I'm struggling to do. So the fact that people are doing it at such a young age is, one, admirable, but also scary, because you're signing contracts and doing things, and that's why so many people get like taken advantage of, or even just like mentally like break down, because it's like, okay, I was making videos on my couch for fun, but now this is my job, and now these people are depending on me, and now I signed this. It's just like, it's so much. You have to be so ready for it when it happens, and I am ready for it, and I'm grateful for that. But like, that's a whole part of the industry that not a lot of people talk about. It's not just going viral, because for me as a consumer, I used to watch people go viral, and then I'm like, oh my God, they're at like this movie premiere doing commentary. That's so dope. Like, that's so exciting. But it's like the steps to get from going viral on your couch to being on the red carpet is like so crazy, and like nobody's talking about it.
And you can get taken advantage of big time. It could be a deal that realistically the brand should be paying you, let's say 6 figures for, and you could charge 500 unknowingly and think like, oh my God, you know, if you have no idea rates or anything behind the scenes. That's also a very tricky thing. Or you can also like sign your life away and not realize it. And that happens often.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that like, obviously it's not like a college course, but I think it'd be good for people in the industry to like, not only like speak about it, but educate people about it. I think that it needs to happen, because this generation that's going through all of this right now, in 5-10 years, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out and like where people end up mentally, emotionally, like financially. It's just insanity.
What do you think the future of digital is? Like, where do you think we're heading?
Well, this is my thing. So people are always like, oh, Instagram's dying, or like Facebook's dying, like TikTok's not going to last forever. But at the same time, it's like, I've had my Instagram since I was in high school, and I'm 27. It's like, I don't think social media will ever die. I do think short form content is definitely, like short form video content is definitely going to be around for a long time because of everybody's attention span. And I also think that when it comes to advertising and marketing, like the traditional celebrity is not what it used to be, in the sense of like how viewers like branding like want them. Like, it's like, I think that having this relatability of these people on social media, and like I'm more likely to trust them than like an actress. And I think that is going to be the future of digital. But also, things change so quickly. You never know. And like I would be naive or stupid to think that like I knew the answer to that. But I definitely think like TikTok and influencer culture is going to be around for a while. I just like don't know what that'll look like.
It's also always changing. It's one of those things. When anyone asks me like a 5-year plan, I'm like, I have no idea. My job didn't even exist 10 years ago. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think like in general for me, like in the future, I say I want to have longevity in this industry, definitely behind closed doors. And when it comes to like my forward facing role in front of the camera and being a personality, like I'm going to take it as long as possible. But while I'm doing that, I want to stay educated on how the business works, the like behind the scenes aspect of things, so I can be as educated in this industry as possible. So if there ever does come a day where I'm not forward facing and in front of the camera, I'll know how things work behind the scenes and get more into creative and consulting and things like that. But I think, like you said, it's like there's no way to tell the future.
No way.
I mean, I literally 2 months ago, I was going to go to cosmetology school, and I was bartending, and I was like sitting on my couch, like watching these celebrities that like now I'm meeting with, and they're asking me marketing questions. It's just like absolutely insane.
It's so crazy. What do you think makes a good influencer? I know it's a very vague question, but what's your opinion?
I think something like the formula for a good influencer, I think, is they need to be, this is so like overused, but they need to be relatable, but it also needs to be obtainable. So I always say like a good influencer is relatable and obtainable, in the sense that like they need to be relatable in the sense of like you find common interest in them, or you like the same things as them, or they're open about their feelings, or like very open about the behind the scenes things and are just like relatable in that sense, but obtainable in the sense where somebody's watching them and they're like, wow, they went from like being on their couch to doing their dream job. And it's obtainable because I have social media. Like, I could do that too. You know what I mean? And I think that's what gets people to want to follow people, to be like, I want to do what they're doing, or I respect what they're doing. And it's crazy because, like, that's why I think TikTok blew up so much. It's because these influencers on TikTok, literally we watch them go from like their hometowns to being at the Met Gala.
Yeah.
And that makes it obtainable because they're like, okay, well, I have TikTok. Can I do that? But also, she's just like me. She was a normal girl and she just liked fashion. And now look at what she's doing. But I also think like what makes a good influencer is to like show like how hard things can be, or like how the back end of things, you know what I mean? I think we're getting to a point where like before, influencers would just do brand deals and do brand partnerships, and like that's all we would consume from them, which is great. But now I think we're seeing people on TikTok like a Victoria Paris, or like a person that like puts themselves out there 24/7, and you see all aspects of like the creative process, or like what goes into like being an quote unquote influencer.
Who do you think is killing it right now, like besides Indie Blue? Like, I know you love Indy. She's actually coming on the podcast soon.
She literally just, like, as I walked in here, she DM'd me. I'm obsessed with her.
I know, it's like the most exciting thing.
No, like, I literally, I can't even talk about, and it's so crazy too. Like, I'm just going to do my love letter to Indy real quick. I was obsessed with her for years, and because I think she's, like, an amazing storyteller, which is, like, my biggest passion is storytelling. And I feel like I manifested, like, she's my friend, being friends with her. I don't care if she doesn't think I'm her friend, we're friends. But I think the way she goes about doing social media is like so authentic and incredible, and I'm obsessed with it. But yeah, I think she's killing it. Who else I think is killing it? It depends on like what avenue. I think that obviously Tiffy, is that how you say her name? It's like TFI. She does the celebrity deep dives, and I like people who like have such niche content but are so good at it. She's basically like True Hollywood Story for TikTok. Okay. Like, she does like 10-part celebrity deep dives, which I think are like amazing because that's the type of content like I love. I also think Tinks is obviously killing it because she is getting into so many different like avenues of like, she's bending the rules between influencer and like mainstream media, and I think when people do that, like, I think that's amazing. I also love Victoria Paris. I think she's killing it as well. I'm trying to think of other people that are like newer with like less followers, but it's just like there's so many that like I'm obsessed with. Also, like Davis here in New York City, how he has that show like the What's Poppin'. Is that what it's called?
Where he interviews people?
Yeah. I love that. And then my favorite like branding out there, who I'm actually friends with, who's Kareen, who's behind it, is We're Not Really Strangers.
Yes.
I think they're killing it as well. They're kind of going into TikTok now. And I just love people who are like authentic yet niche and consistent. I think those are like the type of people who I think are like absolutely killing it. And obviously Indy Blue.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really love Indy. Indy is also just really unique.
Yeah.
People don't do social media like she does.
She does it like almost like OG blogging, but you're like reading her diary and it's so intimate, but also she's a writer. Like, the way she writes is so like eloquent and like nostalgic, and it like gets you in your feelings no matter if your life is similar to hers. It's not like, I do not have a child. I do not live in Utah. But the way she speaks about her life, it's almost like a love letter to herself. And it's just so amazing. And, like, I relate to it. And I'm also super nostalgic. Like, I love how she talks about, like, her inner child and, like, relates things back to, like, her past and future. It's incredible. And also, like, her film storytelling is chef's kiss. That's like my favorite.
She is truly out of this world.
Amazing.
Like, incredible. What is the best thing you've seen a brand do recently? Like, something that you were like, oh, that they killed that.
I'm trying to think. Trying to think of like Black Friday. I was like really looking out for like Black Friday and like trying to see like if anybody really like stepped up to the plate when it came to like holiday ads or deals. And I wasn't super impressed, but so I'm like obviously a massive Kardashian stan.
Yes, same.
And I loved the Fendi Skims collab.
I was going to ask you how you felt about that.
So I loved the Fendi Skims collab. I love everything that the Kardashians do. I think that their branding, even though people could like hate on it all day long, like they are entrepreneurs, they're businesswomen. It is everything. I'm just like obsessed with it. I think their branding is killing it. And for Fendi and Skims to like match up, I think that's gonna like break barriers and like get Skims into like a whole nother realm. Also, I don't know if you could say like a brand that did this recently, but I think that like with so many people, I think the brand Uggs is like gonna like take off.
Yeah. I have never stopped wearing Uggs, for the record. Yes. I wear them all the time. My favorite shoes. But yes.
Yeah. So this is kind of like a prediction rather than a brand that's done something massively. I don't know if this was on purpose or not, but obviously like Hailey Bieber started wearing like those shorter Uggs and like everybody's wearing Uggs again. And I think they're going to have like a massive moment. If there's one brand that I would like want to work with when it comes to doing something iconic coming out, it would definitely be Uggs.
Uggs, and I'm so nostalgic in general.
Me too.
So like I'm 24 years old. It is 2021.
Yeah.
I still wear Uggs and juicy tracksuits.
Yeah, of course.
I just can't stop. Like those are my two like dream brands.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I love them.
Yeah. I'm obsessed. Like I literally like it's number one on my list of like brands that I want to work with because I think that it is so nostalgic, but it's also like so in style now. There's so much that they could do with that, and with people like Hailey and big time celebrities like we're rocking it. It's like we got to do a massive fucking I don't know if I'm
you can. You're fine.
A massive campaign that it'll explode.
What was your first video that went viral or gained traction?
I did what the Kardashians would order at Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that was your first?
Viral, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I used to make a lot of Kardashian content, and I made this one. So it was what the Kardashians would order at Chick-fil-A, but my first massive viral, like 6-8 million, was when I talked about girls that had small arms and big boobs. And I was like, how it's the biggest blessing in the world. And I was just like in my bed, and I like literally have smudged makeup. I was like, Emily Ratajkowski's so lucky. I think girls who are born with small arms and big boobs are like genetically blessed, like whatever. And it exploded. And then another video, so it was the Kardashian, that one, and then it's crazy because I had one that I made a while ago that's going viral right now, and I was on every news outlet, like Good Morning America, The Today Show, Fox News, every BuzzFeed. Literally, it's insane. I was like, is being blonde chuggy?
I didn't realize that you were the one who did this.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, because now every place has...
it's literally into every single publication, every single news media. Like, my face was on Fox News. I was like, what is going on? I made it, like, a month ago, 2 months ago, and now it's, like, exploding because I was just like, is being blonde chuggy? Like, every celebrity model is going dark. Like, is being blonde chuggy? Should I, like, go dark? And now it's literally everywhere. It's insane.
That is so funny.
Yeah. And people are like, whoever decided that being blonde is chuggy's gonna die. I'm like, okay, cute. That's me. Love
Sorry,
that.
guys.
Sorry. And I'm blonde. I was like, and that's the gag. Like, the gag is that I am blonde. So, like, yeah. Not smart with that. I was like, can I get, like, a sponsorship for somebody to, like, do my hair really blonde from this? And I'll be like, actually, guys, blonde is back. I'm declaring now on this podcast, blonde is back.
Blonde is back.
Blonde is not chuggy. I'm sorry. I take back what I said.
You had no idea. It wasn't. How are you to know how big that would become?
And I was hungover, and I had makeup smudged underneath my eyes. Like, and this, you know how like when people take a screenshot of a TikTok and like they put it in news articles. Like, I'm like, oh my god. Like, note to self: at least take a makeup remover to my face before I get on the internet. But it's crazy too. It's like I don't usually wear makeup like when I'm making these videos, and like sometimes when I do, it doesn't perform as well. But when I'm like waking up and just like have a random thought and like post it, those are the ones that go viral. So I'm like, okay, cool. I guess nobody wants to see what I look like with makeup on, but we're good.
For me, the like the least amount of effort that I can put
Yeah.
into a TikTok is what goes viral.
100%.
The second that I try with the TikTok, it's
Yeah.
like, no, never.
I think it's because, like, the people who are consuming it, like, they have those same off-the-cuff
Yes.
ideas and thoughts, and that's when you're like, oh, my God, like, we're all the same. We all live the same lives, and that's what makes things go viral.
What is your favorite series that you do?
I would say I either so am I allowed to swear?
Yes, say whatever you want.
Yeah, shit we forgot about in pop culture, but I didn't. That's like one of my favorite ones.
The Avril Brody thing that you posted. Yeah, I
one of
forgot
the first one of that went crazy was the Tyler C and Gigi Hadid, because I'm extremely nostalgic and I'm such a pop culture connoisseur. Like, I literally, like, I love the Morning Toast.
Yeah,
and like kind of like how that's why I love their podcast, because they're like such random throwback stuff that it's like you feel like nobody remembers. Like,
I say this all the time. Like, you guys have the best memories ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
No, that's just like how my brain works. It's stupid. So I love that one. I also do love the PR moves because it's like challenging in a sense. Like, it like gives me a task, and like when like the actual brands like reach out or like talk about it, like I think it's just like so cool.
Has a brand taken your ideas without paying you?
Not yet. No, not yet. Cause like I've predicted things and they've happened, and people are like, "Oh my God, this person copied you," but I'm like, "There's no way that they did this in like 2 weeks." Like Tana Mojo came out with like a canned wine, and I said that she should come out with like a canned beverage called like Clout Chaser. And like,
what is it called that she?
Dizzy, but like people are like, oh look, whatever, or like Skims. I was like, Skims is definitely gonna be coming out with gloves, and then they did it. I'm like, you guys, Kim did not like take my idea about gloves, but not yet. But honestly, I don't even think I would be like upset if somebody did. My biggest question that I get is, why are you doing this for free? Or like my biggest hate comments are like, she's so stupid for putting these ideas out there for free. She better be making a lot of big money. And I think, first of all, like, I'm creating a digital resume for myself, and I'm getting myself through the doors with these brands and celebrities that I've always wanted to work with. So that in itself is a currency.
Yes.
But also, it's like if a brand took what I did and like executed it, I could then be like, look, to brands, like, look, they took my idea and look how successful it was. This is just like a 16th of my brain. If you actually got to sit down with me and like actually saw how like my actual thought process works and these ideas that I have, I think it'll be crazy and amazing. And honestly, it's gotten me through doors that like I never even thought were there. So that's why I do it for free. And people don't know like that I am now like with an agency and like am doing brand deals behind closed doors or working on those types of things. So I haven't spoken about it yet on my TikTok, but it's like, just wait, guys. Like, I know I'm doing it for free now, but like I am building relationships, and soon you guys will be able to see like what doing that has got me in my career.
You made the right decision for like the long game.
Yeah,
instead of the instant. Because if you weren't posting these online, you know,
none of it would have happened. Or also, like, when it comes to social media in general, it's like I was making all these videos for free and like not taking like the necessarily like one-off brand deals that were coming right away, because like you said, like I want to be in it for the long game. Like I want to create these relationships with these brands for not just brand deals, but to get into like creative and like show the process and like be in it for like a long time. So I completely agree with what you're saying.
Yes. Can we do a PR moves for Dolly Parton?
Okay.
I just love her.
Okay. Let me think about. So Dolly has Dollywood, the amusement park. So I think that she should have a Coachella-like festival.
That was 2.2 seconds. Just
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, continue. Sorry.
That's just how my brain works.
Yeah,
but
immediate.
I think she should have a Coachella-like festival at Dollywood and invite other country or other types of artists to come and perform, like a Casey Musgraves, people who kind of like idolize Dolly, and maybe have them perform her songs with a little bit of their original music. Yep. I also think it would be amazing if Dolly Parton did a collection with like MAC or like a makeup brand, because like she's so known for her look. Like it's so iconic that like I think that would be amazing. But it would have to be something, I say MAC because like it would need to be like a makeup brand that's like has been around and is established, you know what I mean? Because you know how Mac did like the Selena collection. Obviously Selena has passed away. But like an iconic collection like that. I also think it would be, this is kind of out there, not just because I'm obsessed with Kim, if she did some sort of shapewear, because like, you know, her like body, like her like slim waist is like what she's known for, like super corseted. If she did some type of shapewear, maybe a collab with Skims, or did a shapewear of her own, I think that'd be extremely smart.
That was incredible.
Thank you.
It's really insane to
just
watch.
Right off the spot. I probably, if I had like 5 minutes, I could like do it better.
No, that was really good.
Basically, my process on how I do it is like when people comment, I sit down. It's so weird. I close my eyes. I take a minute. I let like the ideas, like the wordplay go in my head, and then I go to their Instagram and like I look at the type of content they put out, what they like, who they're already involved with, and then I go to my notes and I just jot down, like I word vomit for like 2 minutes, and then I don't really plan what I'm gonna do. I just like sit in front of the camera and I just like start filming it, and then it just comes out like word vomit.
It's really so impressive.
Thank you.
In the traditional world, who do you like? What traditional celebrity do you think is like really, really killing it and like truly like the next big thing?
Well, I mean, obviously everybody knows like how well Emma Chamberlain is doing. And like I consider her to be now a traditional celebrity. And I think that she is just breaking barriers and is going to continue to do that and be the next big thing, because I love kind of like the Skinny Confidential as well. I love when influencers or celebrities get into a line of products that like isn't what people would expect and excel at that. Like with Lauren with like the ice roller, so smart. Emma Chamberlain with the coffee, so smart. Like I think that because it's so authentic to them, because any celebrity can sell a brand, but when you're selling the brand of like yourself and like what you like and what you're truly passionate about, it's gonna blow up and be successful, especially if your brand and your followers already know that about you. Like with Emma with coffee, it's just like it's so simple, but like it's so successful, and it's like an industry that not a lot of people had gotten into yet. So I would say my answer for that question is definitely like Emma Chamberlain. Like I'm a stan. I love her.
I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah,
she's
obsessed.
Also,
I think she's killing it.
What's even crazier to think about is when she first started and she would just wear like hoodies every day, her hair in a bun, and now she's like working with Louis, and like she's also like a style icon of our generation. Like I don't know when that happened, but honestly it felt like it just like one day switched.
Yeah, and I think that is like a huge part of Emma as well, is like we watched it all happen and we were part of that experience, which is why like so many people love and support her so much, and why like getting big off of social media I think is like breaking barriers, because it's like it's not like we watched Cameron Diaz go to audition and then become like a movie star. I don't know why she just came to mind. I just watched The Holiday last night.
That's my favorite movie.
Same. But it's like we didn't watch that process. We just saw her as a celebrity. So obviously we like her and support her. But it's like with people that you watch their journey, like you're so much more invested. So I think that's why like these people are doing so well and have such big support systems and are just going to continue to glow up and blow up.
It really is so impressive to watch her. I also love Devin Carlson.
Me too.
I think Devin has, unbelievable. Like just even like Wildflower days
back in the day. Like I was a Wildflower stan back in the day.
Like what was that, like 2012?
Like truly, yeah.
It was forever ago with the studs on the cases.
Yes.
What's your favorite era, like favorite year in the past 10 years of just style, social media, everything?
It's so 2011 and then 2016. So I'm going to go with 2016. I had just graduated college. I was living in LA. I'm actually watching the season of the Kardashians right now. It was like the Yeezy oversized camo shirts, thigh-high boots, like that song Broccoli.
Oh my God.
Like like that Fetty Wap. Chokers, of course, matte lipsticks, French braids. We'd all wear like French braids, the bomber jackets. Like it was the Life of Pablo era. Like that was just everything. I love it. I miss it. I miss 2016. It was so easy.
It reminds me of Alfred Coffee.
Of course, you know the vibe. Like, and I was living in LA at the time. Do you live in LA?
I was in LA at that time.
Yeah, exactly.
Where in LA were you?
So I lived in Westwood for a little bit, and then I was in Hollywood. Like, but on the bottom of Mulholland, like not like right in Hollywood. And I was like promoter girl, like going to the clubs, like just doing the whole LA thing. Like that whole aspect and chapter of my life is like I can't even think about it. It's crazy, but it's funny. It taught me a lot. Living in LA teaches you a lot.
A lot.
Yes.
I have a photo wearing an oversized sweater, over the knee, Stuart Weitzman boots, a choker.
Yeah.
My hair is pulled back and I'm wearing matte lipstick outside of Alfred's on Melrose Place holding Alfred.
Of course.
Everyone did.
And it was like, what was the little thing on the cup?
The mustache.
But there was like, you could write something.
Oh, yeah.
What was that slogan? And
but first coffee? No, because it was the fill in the blank.
Yeah, it was like but first blank.
Yes.
And I wrote but first Justin Bieber and like I have like a picture holding it. It's like so stupid. I like the wings too and like the pink wall. Like that.
The pink
wall. The girls tour, remember like Sorella Boutique?
Yes.
Like,
Fairfax.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Such a vibe.
I mean, what a time. You know what? I kind of miss that. Broccoli takes me back to every frat party I've ever attended.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was really an experience. Last thing I want to talk about is, I guess without being cheesy, like the concept of not giving up, because you said like if I would have given up on GBT, you know, a year ago, even 3 months ago at this point, like you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
During that time, like what kind of like got you through? I know you were doing other things, but clearly you still like were kind of committed to the vision.
Totally. So I also like struggle with mental health. I've gone through some stuff in my life. I lost my mom. There's been times in my life where like I didn't have a job, or I didn't have an apartment, and there's so much going on in my life. And this is gonna sound like very like spiritual, whatever, but like I got into manifestation, and I would sit on my bed when I was having these such hard times and hard days and coming home from work being like I hate what I'm doing, and I would sit in my bed and I would write out like what I want my life to look like.
Okay, very practically, were you writing like I am or I want?
I am.
Okay,
yeah, I am. And I had a life list, and I would add things, and I would visualize myself doing these things. And honestly, one of the biggest opportunities that have come to me through my social media was number 2 on my life list.
Wow.
And it's happening now, and it's exactly what I wrote out. And like, you don't have to believe in manifestation or not, but to just visualize yourself in the place that you want to be, as hard as it is. Obviously, it's easy for me to say this now that I've gotten what I've wanted, but like I'm telling you, like when you're in those times and you want to give up, manifest, visualize yourself, and just think like I am meant for something so much more. Like I just kept telling myself that like I am meant for something so much more. Like I know it's gonna get better. It always does. Even in the darkest points in my life, I would think to myself like if I got through this, like I can get through anything. Like it's gonna get better. And visualize yourself where you want to be and believe in yourself. Like I'm not a TJ Maxx sign. Like I don't live, laugh, love, but like like if the power in believing in yourself is insane. Like you can trick anybody if you believe yourself and just think like if I can get through this, I can get through anything. Like I'm made for so much more than this. Like I can do this. And I would write in this journal, and it's crazy now that I have the journal. Looking back, I'm like, wow, like I was such a dark place. Now where I'm at now, like I go to bed every night and I just like thank whatever you want to believe in, and I'm like, thank you so much for putting me in this position. Like I did it. Like it's insane. It's crazy. But it takes time. And, like, obviously I hate saying things like, oh, just say it's going to get better. Because, like, when you're in that dark time, you're like, obviously it's not going to get better. Like, this sucks. But it will. And, like, you always land on your feet. You always get out of it. Like, you're still going now. You know what I mean? But also, one more thing. It's, like, I was unhappy in my job, and I did something about it. And not a lot of people could like financially be like, you know what, I'm done doing this. But there's different ways you can like go after what you want and achieve your dreams without like fully quitting your job. Like, but if you don't like what you're doing, sit down and ask yourself, be like, what do I want to be doing this time next year? Like, what do I want to be doing this time next year? And how am I going to achieve that? And like, what's the harm in doing that? Yeah. You have nothing to lose. You know what I mean? What do you have to lose after going after your dream? If it doesn't happen, that is heartbreaking, but at least you tried. You know, like I lost my mom when my mom was 50, and I always think to myself, I'm like, life is so short. Like if I'm not doing what I want to do every day, what is the point? Like, truly, what is the point? Like, you get up every day. Like, I was doing my 9 to 5, and some people love and thrive off of that. That's amazing. But it's like, if I'm doing the same thing every day, like, I don't want to look back in 5 years and be like, where did those 5 years of my life go? Like, when I could be actively trying to do something that I love and, like, want to do. But it's a loaded question, but, like, I hope I answered that.
No, that was so good.
Thank you.
I feel like everyone's going to leave this episode feeling so inspired and motivated.
Perfect. And wearing, like, a choker and going to outfits.
Yes. Yeah, and wearing Stuart Weitzman over the knee boots.
Exactly.
Yeah, the, like, gray suede ones.
Of course.
Yeah,
or, like, the maroon ones with camo.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you
Where
so
can they
much.
find you?
So just at Girlboss Town, GirlBossTown. And by the way, I'm not like a Girl Boss LuLaRoe. It's Girl Boston, but like, you know, I had to do a little play on words. It's that on Instagram and yeah. It's that on Instagram and TikTok. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. You're like the first podcast that I've been on, so I'm so excited.
I'm honored. This is so exciting.
And so many people DM me. They're like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I love her.
Oh
so like,
wow, I'm honored.
You have a fan of my friends and in me.
Wow, thank you.
No problem.